So a little variety in the answers there. Let's move on to the third issue, and as you can tell, they're going to get a little tougher. So poverty and making Vancouver a fair living wage city. So starting with Gregor Robertson, are you prepared to work with Metro Vancouver Alliance to first commit to developing a plan to make the City of Vancouver a living wage employer for all directly and indirectly employed workers in the city, and secondly, to promote a living wage plan to other municipalities and other employers?
Yes, and thank you for the questions and the position on this. So Vancouver is a great city and very well run thanks to our city workers. Our city workers do an extraordinary job and make the city tick. And we have a very constructive and respectful relationship with our city unions for the past 6 years. We've enjoyed that in stark contrast to what happened before, an acrimonious relationship that we saw a garbage strike emanate from. We've changed that, and it's very important with the living wage piece that we sit down first and have that conversation with our locals, with our unions, and make sure that we put together as strong as possible an approach that respects the collective agreements and gets a living wage as policy in the city that we can promote far and wide. So we will focus on that. We came in our first action 6 years ago. One of our first actions was to call for a raise in the minimum wage. So we've been strong believers in this. It finally happened, but we need to go a step further.
Thank you. Meena, Wong, same questions.
Thank you. Yes, we definitely support that. But I do have a question for Gregor, though. Like when you vision,
well, this isn't a debate between
candidates.
Oh, okay. You're responding to Metro Vancouver Alliance.
When Vision was approached in their first term about implementing a living wage, they said no. That's why I want to ask the question. And 2 weeks ago, I announced that COPE would take leadership by implementing a living wage for all city workers and contractors. I have also announced that we will implementing $15 an hour local minimum wage, starting with big hotel chains and chain stores. We will take leadership to amend the Vancouver Charter, so we can do it, believe me. Recently, COPE invited Shama Sawan from Seattle. She is the one that elected to Seattle City Council, and based on the $15 minimum wage.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to take that as a yes and a yes?
Yes, of course, yes.
Yes, okay. If you wouldn't mind bringing it over to Adriane Carr, please. Same question, living wage.
Yes, thank you. Yes and yes. I really believe, and all of the Greens believe, I'm happy to see Cleta Brown and Pete Fry and Misha Oak here with me tonight. We are all completely committed to decreasing the gap between rich and poor in our society. It is shameful that the gap is increasing, not decreasing. In terms of the taking leadership, I would like to commend New Westminster. They've already taken leadership, and it's time Vancouver caught up and took leadership with them. And thirdly, I just want to let you know that we have, I wish we had more money to provide living wages for all the hours people work within the party. But we mostly have volunteers. And to honor our volunteers, when we had our recent fundraiser, instead of just saying, could somebody donate so much, if someone could only donate time, we valued their time at the living wage so that they would know just how incredibly important their time is. If we had the money, we'd be paying them that.
Thank you. And finally, on this question, Kirk LaPointe.
Of the 10 largest cities in our country, we have the lowest median income. In the last 4 years, the years that StatsCan has most recent data, we've had the lowest growth. So unquestionably, the problem is getting worse. You've had 2,000 days with this government to get the commitment that you got tonight. How many more thousands of days before you actually see it come true? Other cities in our region, including New West and and Washington, King County, are committed to a living wage. And so we're going to commit to reviewing the impact of these, and we're going to take care of it. If there is favorable impact, we believe that we will do it within 2 years and complete it within the first term. In the meantime, there are other options that we have to explore in order to create higher paying jobs. Those options, I think, are all going to be on the table. But the answer is yes and yes.
Thank you. And so we look forward to working with all of you on that issue then as we go forward. Back to Andrew.